Here's the headline fact of the day. Women have a lot on our minds, don't we? Don't we? So here's a follow-up question. Do we forget to analyze our own thoughts as they run through our head at such a rapid pace? My next guest says knowing our own heads can help us communicate what we really mean. It's day 2 of our series Inside Their Brain, and today we ask what's happening in the female head. Here to help us decipher is Dr. Liz Hale, our mostly male camera crew, giving us some grief today, saying we need a whole day to talk about this topic. But this is a unique one under this series umbrella, Liz, because a lot of women are listening and they're thinking, well, gosh, I know what's happening in my head, for good or for bad. But you're saying we can really afford to analyze those words.
Words are powerful, aren't they? Sometimes I don't like what's going on in my own head. So I call them, words can be wedges in our relationship, or they can budge us together. So a wedge or a budge, you know?
Or a budge.
Or I could like to call it a word wedgie. Let your mind go wild, because they are so darn powerful. So it's really worth it to look at not doing emotional efficiency. Sometimes I try to be so efficient, so I just cut to the chase, and that leaves a lot to be desired. We really do in our words with each other need to massage things a little bit.
I like
really
that.
Take care.
Avoid the emotional efficiency.
Yes, yes, I do that too often.
I appreciate that. I do. Let's get into some of these specific phrases, common phrases you would like women to be a little more aware of in their pursuit of stronger communication. First, are you going to wear that? I assume most often thrown toward our lovable spouse.
Usually, right? Are you going to wear that? That's the wedge. So the budge would be something like, honey, would you mind wearing that shirt of yours that I love so much to the dinner party tonight? It's a very simple question, and guess what? He can say yes or no. It really doesn't matter, and he can still be loving. And you can still be loving with the response that he says. It really doesn't matter, but it's much different than, are you gonna wear that? Honey, would you mind? Because again, he's not a mind reader, and we may have had that in mind, and it really doesn't matter what he wears anyway, right? Tonight will soon be over, it'll be tomorrow. But the next time you go out, you may also think about laying something out if you really have something specific in mind. And again, he can appreciate that or just say, no, thank you. It really doesn't matter.
It's more direct. It's the same message, just in a kinder way. Is that fair to say?
Well, the outcome, right, is we're closer together. That's the whole key, is what draws us closer together. What's going to budge us closer together and not be a wedge.
And not wedge us. Phrase number 2, it sure would be nice if...
Isn't that a great one? I mean, nothing good is going to come after that, right? It sure would be nice if I wasn't the only one around here lifting a finger. Sure would be nice if you could just see what to do, right? So this is a note out of John Gottman's book, is I feel blank when blank happens and I need blank. So I feel overwhelmed when the kitchen's a mess. I need some help, and I would love it if you could finish the dishes.
But you put a feeling to that. You put an emotion to that.
Yeah, well, and it's my own, kind of taking responsibility, right? But I feel overwhelmed. I feel, not you're making me overwhelmed, you bad guy, you. You know, I feel overwhelmed when the kitchen looks a mess. I really need some help. Would you be able to finish the dishes?
I love that. I love that one. You never touch me anymore. You hear, wives say these to this to their husbands, and I'm sure practice all the time.
Yeah, maybe it goes both ways too. And boy, nothing is going to want to make a spouse want to touch you, right? Less than this. You never touch me anymore.
Yeah.
So again, that's the wedge. So the budge would be, you know what? I love your hands, and I love your hands touching me. I've missed that. I really ache for that. Or, last weekend when we were on the big couch and you were massaging my shoulder, oh my gosh, I love that. I love more of that. So again, telling him, instead of saying, don't touch me there, but I really love it, especially when you touch me here.
You're playing up the positive. It sounds so simple when you say this, and I can see the efficiency in it, right?
I know, and the danger of that, right? Of just really taking a little bit more time. Again, John Gottman says, the marriage masters versus the marriage disasters. Those that do it well versus those that do it poorly, just out of the gate. They're just blessed, I guess. They almost have this ability to just hit pause, like a breath and a pause, to say, you know what I would love?
To reframe it from that positive perspective. Here's one. How much did that cost? How much did that cost?
How much did that cost, honey, right?
You never hear that, right,
well
Liz?
in our house, right? Yeah. Ben is far more frugal. He says that much more often to me. But again, let the budget speak for itself, right? Let the black and white speak. So instead of how much did that cost, the budge would be, honey, you work so hard for us. I would love for you to be rewarded. I'm concerned, however, do we have enough money in our budget to cover that? It's just a simple question. Is money there? That's all I wanted to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of the accusation, it's like, I really want you to have this.
Yeah, it's not a finger point, it's just a question.
Again, about me, I'm concerned.
Yep. Finally, who were you just talking to? Why is that a dangerous question, or could that be a potential wedge?
Yeah, who were you just talking to? You can kind of just hear it, right? The accusation in that. But again, take responsibility. And so I might have some insecurity on intimacy or connection with us. So I might say, well, that conversation was a little longer than usual. I'm just feeling a little left out. I don't mean to pry, but do you mind if I ask who that was?
But there was an I in there. I'm feeling left out.
Yes, so it's all about me, not like, who are you talking to,
right.
you know,
right.
and just what's going on. But again, self-responsibility, and a maid is more than happy to get you out of the dark on that. It's like, oh, yeah, that was longer. Well, let me just tell you who that was.
I like this so much. A simple reframe can go a long way.
Yeah.
Avoid the word wedgies.
No wedgies, but a word budge would be, so much more satisfying.
I love it. We'll be thinking about this in our upcoming relationships and conversations, Liz.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.